Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Costello. Some of you guys have me, some of you might have a different math teacher, but I am making the video for day 1 and 2. I am in R13, so if you have any questions about the video or you just want to come say hi, you can. Feel free to come by and ask me any questions, or if you have me, here we go. You're getting a taste of how I teach. Today we are kind of going back to 7th grade. I know it's not a great time to go back to. I don't really want to go back there. You don't either. But we're doing order of operations, or PEMDAS. So we're going to talk about what each of these letters mean right here in PEMDAS. So when I talk, I'm going to write on the screen and you're following along in your notes. Step 1, we're talking about P. So we're talking about evaluating inside parentheses. And I use this as a checklist, and I think a lot of your teachers do too, so we're going to kind of go through that when we do some problems. Step 2, evaluate. Now we're on E. E is for exponents. So PE. And then when we get down to the last 4 letters, these guys, you kind of think about it like reading a book. You go left to right on these. Doesn't matter which one goes first as long as you're going left to right, okay? So M and D together. M is multiply, so we're going to put multiply in the first blank and divide in the second one. So you're going to read your expression left to right and do the multiply and divide left to right. Then step 4 is A and S. So add and subtract. Okay. Perfect. That's box 1. Box 2, the other thing that we're doing today is we're going to do substitution. So when you have a substitute in your class, you are like, if I'm gone, substitute comes in, they're replacing me for the day. It's the same thing in math. So to replace. Or you can put fill in, it's your notes, you put whatever you want, a given value for a variable. So we're going to plug in or replace like a number where the letter goes or where the letter is. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to do some problems. I'm going to leave some for you to do on your own, but we're going to kind of walk through some of them. So we're going to think of PEMDAS as our checklist when we're going through these. So number 1, okay, we're thinking our checklist. There's no parentheses, so I'm going to skip P. I'm going to go straight to E. E is for exponents. I do have an exponent right here, 2 to the power of 3. Now, 2 to the power of 3, that doesn't mean 2 times 3. It means 2 times 2 times 2, okay? So we're not doing anything with the 6, so we're going to write the 6. We'll write the minus. Now, 2 times 2 is 4. Another 2 is 8. And then we didn't do anything with that plus 4 either. So I just did E. Now I'm on M. There's no multiplication. There's no division. Now I'm on add and subtract. Now you can do this left to right. So if you need to do this in multiple steps, you totally can, because there's 3 things right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 6 minus 8 first, because that's the first thing I see. So 6 minus 8 is a negative 2 plus 4. And then that's the only thing I have left. Negative 2 plus 4 is going to be positive 2. So that's going to be my answer on number 1. Number 2, okay, see we've got some fractions. This might be a little like red flag for some of you guys, but we're going to be okay. So we do have some parentheses, so we're going to take care of this part first. We're going to ignore the rest. So I'm going to write out what I have. I have 3 over 4 divided by 6. All right, now these parentheses. Okay, what's wrong with this? Well, we don't have any common denominators right here, right? We have a 2 and an 8. It's not going to work. Let's change the denominator on the 2 first before we multiply or before we add them. So to get an 8, we have to multiply by 4. Okay, so 4 times 1 is 4 over 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3 over 8. Now inside my parentheses, I'm good to go. Like the fractions, the denominators match, so we can keep going on those parentheses. Again, I'm leaving everything else alone. I'm leaving 3 over 4. I'm leaving divided by 6. Now, when you add fractions, only add the tops. Okay, it's kind of like pieces of pizza. Okay, this pizza it was cut into 8 pieces, there's 4 left. Okay, this pizza, there's 8 pieces, there's 3 left. If I put the 2 pizzas together to save room in my fridge, the 4 pieces plus the 3 pieces is 7 pieces out of the 8 pieces. All right, now we did P for parentheses. I know we still have some parentheses here, and I know that's kind of confusing. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But remember, these parentheses are kind of like multiplication. So if you want to rewrite everything so that you can see the multiplication, that's fine too. So 3 over 4 divided by, now I'm going to change this 6 to 6 over 1 so I can kind of see things a little bit better, okay? And then times 7 over 8. Okay. This one's kind of tricky because now when you go left to right on your multiply divide, look, you're dividing 2 fractions. When you divide 2 fractions, you have to flip the second one, okay? So you could also just do the other one if you wanted to. So we're going to flip this one, 6 over 1. So 3 over 4. And remember, when you flip, now you multiply. So times 1 over 6 times 7 over 8. So it's one big multiplying, okay? When you multiply fractions, you just go straight across. So 3 times 1 is 3, and then times 7 is 21. Now, I can totally put 4 times 6 times 8 in my calculator and get the answer really easily for the, and when I do that, it's 192. It's a big fraction, okay? You do need to reduce it, okay? It can be reduced by 3. I should have done that earlier because I see there's the 3 here and the 6 here. So let's divide that by 3 and get our reduced one. So 21 divided by 3 is 7 over, and then 192 divided by 3 is 64. That's going to be my final answer. That was a tough one. Like, I realized that. I know fractions aren't your friends, but we're going to do another one. It's hopefully a little bit better. Okay, same thing. Okay, we're still doing PEMDAS. So we got a lot of parentheses happening right here. We have these big parentheses, these brackets. They're just big parentheses. They're just trying to keep everything together because inside the big parentheses is the small parenthesis right here. Oh, that's an ugly color. But the small parenthesis is what we want to work on first. So we're going to go big to small. So we're just going to look at in here. Okay, so I'm going to leave everything else alone. So I'm going to write 3.2 bracket 24. Now inside, or minus, sorry. Now inside I have 5 and I have this exponent right here. Let's take care of the exponent first. So 5 plus 5 squared, so that's 5 times 5, which is 25. Bracket. Now I still have the baby parentheses inside, so I'm going to work on those first. So I'm going to leave everything else. 3.2 bracket 24 minus 5 plus 25, that's 30. So I'm going to write 30. And then do you see how I dropped the baby parentheses? It's because I did everything inside. Like, I combined the 5 and the 25, so there wasn't anything else left in there. All right, we still have parentheses. These brackets are still part of the P in PEMDAS, so we're still doing that. Okay. So 3.2 is right there, and then 24 minus 30 is -6. If you want to keep the bracket, you can still do parentheses, it doesn't really matter. Now, some of you guys are looking at this and you're going, oh my gosh, there's a decimal. Okay, but you can use your calculator. So you're going to do 3.2 times -6 in your calculator. And you will get -19.2. Okay, not too bad. Now, if you're following along on your guided notes, there is a right here, problem A. You're going to do that on your own. So maybe take a second and pause the video and do this one on your own, and then I'm going to give you the answer. So if you did this problem, the answer that you should have gotten is 9. Now, if you didn't get that, you can ask your teacher about it tomorrow. You can ask me about it, whatever you want to do, but maybe try to rework it if you didn't get 9 and see if you made a common mistake. because I can think of a couple that some of you guys might have made. Alrighty. The last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to do some substitutions. So it says substitute the given values to evaluate the expression. Okay, so on number 4, we have mx plus b. And I know that doesn't mean anything to us right now. It's just a bunch of letters. But then it says, you know, m is this, x is this, b is this. Okay, if you have me as a teacher, you will learn that I really like colors. So I'm going to give each one its own color. So m is going to be this pink color right here. That means I'm also going to underline the m over here in pink, because that's telling me wherever the pink is, I'm going to put 3 in. Okay. Then I'm also going to use this blue for x. Blue right there, so everywhere there's an x, I'm going to put -1. And then b is -8, so that goes right here on plus b. Okay. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to plug in everything. Okay, so looks like I have purple first, so 3 goes first. Now see how m and x are like smashed together? When the letters are smashed, that means multiply. So 3 and then times -1. See how I put the negative in parentheses? I'm always taking the sign with me. And then plus, you can put -8 for b. Now you're going to use your order of operations. So p is for parentheses. 3 times -1 is -3. And then plus -8. If you want to write it like that, that's fine. Or you could also write it like -3 minus 8, whichever way works for you. Okay, either way, whichever way you put it in your calculator, you should get -11. And that's going to be your answer on that one. All right, we're going to do one more together, and then you guys have one to try on your own. Ooh, this is a long one. Okay. Again, we've got this expression right here, this a times x minus h squared plus k, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a bunch of letters, but then it tells us what the letters are. So we're going to do the same thing, okay? A is going to be pink. There's a right there, so I'm going to put 1/2 where a is, okay? H is going to be this blue, so wherever there's an H, I'm going to put -3. K is going to be green. Wherever there's K, I'm going to put 9. And then X is going to be -7. Oops, I need a new color. Hold on. There we go. That goes right there. So I'm going to plug in what I have. So the first thing I see is the pink, so I'm going to put 1/2 for A. I'm going to keep all the parentheses. So there's a parenthesis right there where X is, so I'm going to put parenthesis, -7, minus. Now see how I put minus? Even though I see that H is a -3, you always take the sign with you. And I know that looks gross right there, but I will deal with it in a second. And then plus K, so plus 9. Now, P's for parentheses. So inside my parentheses, I have this gross thing right here, a negative. I put the two negatives right there because we know that negative next to each other, that's going to make a plus like that. Okay, and for some of you guys like seeing that. Oops, I forgot the squared. There we go. Some of you guys like seeing that better. So inside my parentheses, I'm going to do that first. I'm going to leave everything else alone. So 1/2 is good. -7 plus 3 is -4 squared. And then plus 9 is still left alone. Now, I have -4 squared, which means I have -4 times -4. Okay, -4 times -4 is positive 16, so be careful on that. So 1/2, -4 squared is 16, plus 9. Okay, so I did E for exponents. Now I'm on M. M for multiplication. This is kind of like multiplication, also kind of like division, right? 1/2 times 16. Half of 16 is 8, or 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I have 8 here plus 9, which is 17. Now, same thing on this one. I think you should pause your video, give it a try. I'm going to give you the answer. And if you have questions, you can ask your teacher tomorrow. Okay, so if you did that one on your own, hopefully you got -4 as an answer. If not, go back and check your work If you're really not sure where you made a mistake, ask your teacher tomorrow or come ask me tomorrow. Okay. If you have any questions, be sure to ask your teacher for help.